Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I recently had a subscriber ask me how I preserve my rhubarb. And while I've talked about it and probably some of my this and that videos, I don't have any specific videos just on rhubarb and how I preserve it. And now's the time to be cutting that rhubarb if you haven't already. Some of you live in places where you've probably already been doing it for quite a while. Ours is just to the point where it's ready to start harvesting. A little bit behind schedule for around here because we've been having some real cold weather, but it should be really taking off soon. And so I've been going ahead and harvesting some. So even though it's kind of on the small side, but that way I should start seeing some bigger rhubarb stalks growing here real soon. So let's get started. So I'm going to be shooting this video out here today because it's sunny out and I still don't have the lighting set up in my kitchen yet since I tore it down, but you'll find out about that in another video. Anyway, Mrs. Rain. So anyway, this is dehydrated rhubarb from 2013. And as you can see, this is one really good way to do it. I haven't been dehydrating anymore since because I really don't use it this way very often. However, it is a really great way to put up your rhubarb for a long period of time. And how I do it is I just cut it up. I just put it directly on the dehydrator trays and just dry it until it's completely dried all the way through, and then put it in my jars and then vacuum seal it. However, this is not my favorite way to do it. It's good for long-term storage and taking up less room. However, rhubarb is something I prefer to can with other things like in jams and stuff like that, or to cook up with other things. So my favorite way to put up rhubarb is to freeze it. So I'll show you how I do that. So all I do is, once you pick your rhubarb, make sure you break this leaf off. You don't want to eat this. This is toxic, in case you don't know. But it also works good as a bug spray to spray on your plants, like your peppers when they're young, to keep the bugs from eating them. And I do have a video recipe on a bug spray or bug repellent for your plants. I'll go ahead and put that right up here. So otherwise you can just take these and throw them right down into your gardens or into your potted plants and let them break down and nourish the soil. And then I always cut this white piece off here. And as you can tell by the way mine looks, I use the rocking method for harvesting my rhubarb. I don't cut it. I rock it until it pulls out easily. And here's another one like that. So just cut that off. These ones are actually, I harvested a few days ago, so they're looking a little withery because I haven't got around to dealing with them yet. And then I just cut into pieces about like that. If I get some that are a little big, just cut those in half. Because what I do is once I've got them frozen, then what I'm going to do is when I'm ready to combine it with, say, strawberries or blackberries or blueberries, once they're ready, then I'll just pull out one of my jars and then cook it up with whatever it is that I'm going to make. Or peaches. You can make, it works really good to mix with peaches for a rhubarb peach pie, rhubarb strawberry pie, or blueberry rhubarb pie. These are all good options. Whatever you do, you want to make sure that when you're using your rhubarb, whatever it is you use it in, try to use it with a fruit that's already more on the sweet side, like a blueberry, a strawberry, or a peach, because rhubarb is so tart. See, that helps balance it out. That's why they go so well together. I've actually made a rhubarb mead before too, and it turned out decently. I think I still have some there in my cabinet. So then I just start putting it in my jar. Okay, I'm going to cut up some more so I can get that jar filled up. Top this jar off. Don't get it too full. Just get it up to, well, I'm going to pack it in there, but make sure it's not pressing up against the top. Okay, and then I just simply put my lid on there, just not too tight. I don't put it on really loose, but you can if you feel better about that. But there's plenty of airspace in there that I'm not worried about when it freezes. and it might swell a little bit. It's not going to swell enough to push up against the lid or break the jar. Not like if you're filling it with a liquid. All right, well that's it. That's how simple it is. I just put it in the freezer like that, and then when I'm ready to use it to combine it with any other fruit, I also will pull it out and use it to make popsicles throughout the year, some creamsicles. I have all kinds of recipes on creamsicles, and I should put those in a playlist so I can link to those right up here, and then you can see all the various different ones, you know, from chocolate to whatever. I don't remember how many different ones I have out there, but I'll put those all in one, and I'll probably make some more videos. But combining your rhubarb, you know, with other fruits, whatever it is you've got coming in later in the season, this is just an easy way to do it. You just thaw it out, pour it in there, and, you know, process it up however it is that you plan on doing, or cook it or whatever. Now, one thing I want to say about the dehydrated rhubarb is that when you go to use this, it's best if you cook it a little bit first if you're going to use it in a pie. So just put it in some water, let it cook a little bit, just simmer it for a few minutes. It's all you'll need, because if you're going to cook it in a pie, it's, you know, it'll be fine. But basically, you do want to rehydrate it some before you add it to the pie. Otherwise, it may not fully rehydrate while it's cooking in the pie, and then it might be too chewy. But I have tried cooking this up and doing stuff with it, and it works great. Now, I have read where when I first started dehydrating the rhubarb, I read somewhere, you have to blanch it first. That's all I could come across. So I blanched it. I just really didn't like how it turned out when I dehydrated it that way. But when I just cut it up, put it on the dehydrator trays, and did it this way, I think it's so much easier. It holds together better, and it's really simple to rehydrate, and it will cook up just fine. You can even add it to hot cereals and stuff if you like that flavor. Or you can add it to teas. If you're making some teas and you want to add some more vitamin C in there, you can add that rhubarb. I've done it before. It's not my favorite flavor. I'm not really, though I love tart flavors, when it comes to drinking tea, I don't like tartness in my tea, not very much. Now, it's different than when I like using a lemon peel or something. I'm adding a lemon flavor, but I'm not getting all that tartness in there. It's a little different. So I personally don't care for it, but you might like it if you like that kind of flavor, especially if you mix it with other things when making your tea. You might be able to come up with a really good tasting rhubarb tea. All right, well, that's it for the rhubarb. And for those who want to stick around, today is June 2nd, and I thought I'd go ahead and shoot a garden update. It's 2019, by the way, if you're watching this later on next year, a couple years from now, just so you kind of know where we're at garden-wise. And I'm not going to do a breakdown of all my different gardens. Those will start, I believe I'll start doing those next week. But I just want you to see kind of what's going on. But I'm not going to tell you what everything is yet. You'll have to wait for the specific various garden updates I do. So I'll be doing a focus on like one just on this deck garden, another one on the main garden, another one on the greenhouse, another one on the herb garden, and another one on the front yard garden. So let me just kind of pan you around and show you what my gardens look like right now. Okay, so here we are on the deck. You see my grapes and blueberries and various other doodads growing. Things are coming along. And then let's just step out here. We got grapes coming down the walkway here. Here's how my main garden bed is looking. Right there. Let's walk out here. And I got my blackberries back there. That's that plum tree still in the pot. And my lettuces. There's the tomatoes in the greenhouse. There's other things growing in the greenhouse, but tomatoes are the one thing that is doing the best right now. While this isn't my main potato patch, it used to be, and I didn't plant any of these potatoes that are in there. This is my squash patch, at least on this side, and beans and peas. And the squash is struggling, but it's finally starting to take off. It hasn't been liking the cold that we've been having. And here's my West Herb garden, really filling in. Love this. Here's the smaller apple tree, the one we had in a pot with the golden oregano I recently planted. And over there is our bigger apple tree. This is my south skinny little herb garden. And my front yard gardens. And then here's a quick view of our little mini orchard out front. We have 5 fruit trees right out here. I'm not counting that one down there because that little tiny thing, because it ended up dying. But there's another one over there. And all together that makes 8 fruit trees that we have. And then you can see the garden filling in back here with potatoes and rhubarb and herbs. And the bare patches you see have things planted in them. I've got some ground cherries and some other planted seed in here that I'll be talking about when I do a more detailed update on this. All right, well, that was a quick flyby of the garden areas, and I will be starting my more detailed breakdowns of each section hopefully next week if all goes well, so be watching for that. And I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.